Good evening and namaste. You all are welcome to the Genius Lakshya. Dear students, parents, and others, today we are going to start a new topic. And the topic is public services in our country. Today you will get to know the types of central government jobs, state government jobs, all India services. So there is a very clear classification of jobs in our country. All India services, their ranks and their positions, central government jobs. In central government jobs, how many jobs are there? Grade A, grade B, grade C, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, right? So we have varieties of jobs for central government, state government, and above all, the all India services. So as you are aspiring to be a class 1 officer, you should know the various ranks of jobs, the classification of jobs. So today we will discuss all India services, all the central government jobs and the state government jobs, their training process, everything we are going to discuss today. So you enjoy the session. If you have any doubt and query, definitely you can write me on my email ID rohitsika@geniusschool.co.in. Okay, so let's start the presentation of the day. Before I start, I am sharing first slide of my presentation to check the technicality of the presentation, whether I am visible or audible. Please let me know as soon as possible. So public services means government services or administrative services means public services. So very interesting topic today, very important. Okay, so let's start again. Test yourself. Test is always the best. So let's start from the test. Question number 1, the public services means civil services or the government services in our country, in India, are classified into 5 categories. Right or wrong? All India services are those services which are only confined to the central government jobs, or the officers serve only the central government. Then the members of all India services or the employees or the officers of all India services occupy top positions. Or key positions. Right or wrong? Right now, at present, there are three All India services in our country. In 1947, the All India Service or ICS was replaced by Indian Administrative Service. True or false? The member of All India Services are recruited and trained by the state governments. True or false? The salaries, the pensions of all India services are made by the center. Right or wrong? Last question is, right now there are 62 groups of A central services, group A central services. So these are some of the questions from the presentation. If you have any question and doubt, definitely you can write me on my email ID. And for more careers, if you have any doubts, then feel free to write me and ask me the questions. So now let's start the presentation. So we'll start from the division or the classification of services in our country. So public services means civil services or the government services or government jobs or civil jobs. In India, the public services are basically classified into three categories. All India services, number one. Number two, central services. And third one is state services. So the entire public services are divided into three category: All India services, central services, and state services. All India services are those services which are common for the central government as well as the state government. You should remember, you should understand it that All India services is a service where the officer provides services for the central government as well as the state government. The members or the officers of All India services occupy top positions or important positions, key positions in the central government as well as the state government. Right now, there are three All India services in our country: Indian Administrative Service IAS, Indian Police Service IPS, Indian Forest Service IFS. So these three are All India services. In 1947, Indian Civil Services, previously it was known as Indian Civil Services. Now it is known as Indian Administrative Services. So ICS has been replaced by IAS. The Indian Police now, previously it was known as Indian Police or IP. Now it is known as Indian Police Service or IPS. The All India Service Act 1951 authorized the central government to make rules in consultation with the state government for regulation, recruitment, and service condition of All India services. So the All India Services Act 1951 is a joint venture of central government as well as the state government, because the All India services are those services where the center and state both get the services. The member of these services are recruited, they are trained by the central government, but they are given or they are assigned work or job or responsibility in different states. Very important to understand. All India services means IAS, IPS, and IFS are recruited by the central government, but they work for the state government also. They belong to different state cadres. Center having cadre of its own. Center has no own cadre, but different states have different cadre. They serve the central government on deputation, and after completion their fixed tenure they go back to their respective states. The central government obtains services of these officers on deputation under the well-known tenure system. It must be noted here that irrespective of their division among different states, each of these All India services form a single service with a common rights and status and uniform scales of pay throughout the country. Though their pay scales are uniform and they follow some common rights and status across the nation. And the salaries of All India services, the pensions are made by the states. All India services are controlled jointly by the central government as well as the state government, because they are recruited by and trained by the central government and they work for the state government. The ultimate control of the officers of All India services lies with central government, while the immediate control is vested in the state government. Any disciplinary action imposing any kind of punishment or penalties against these officers can only be taken by the central government. State government cannot take any kind of disciplinary or penalty action against all India services. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was the chief person or protagonist of All India services in the Constituent Assembly. So he is called the father of All India services. So Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is regarded as the father of All India services. After All India services, the next second one is central services. The personnel of the central works or services, they work for the central government. They hold a specialized positions, functional, it may be technical position in various department of the central government. Before independence, the central services were classified into class 1, class 2, subordinate and inferior services. Before India got its independence, it was the service classification. Now we have a different classification. After independence, the nomenclature or the name of the subordinate inferior services was replaced by class 3 and class 4 services. So subordinate and inferior services are no more. Again in 1974, the classification of the central services into class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4 officers was changed and it became Group A, Group B, Group C and Group D respectively. Right now there are 62 Group A central services in our country. Which are they? The Group A central services are Central Engineering Service, Central Health Service, Central Information Service, Central Legal Service, Central Secretariat Service, Indian Audit and Account Service, Indian Defence Account Service, Indian Economic Service, Indian Foreign Service, Indian Meteorological Service, Indian Postal Service, Indian Revenue Service includes Custom Service, Excise and Income Tax, Indian Statistical Service, Overseas Communication Service, Railway Personnel Service. These are some of the Group A services in our country. Most of the above cadres of Group A central services have also corresponding Group B services. Group C central services consist of clerical personnel, while group D means laborer or manual personnel. Thus, Group A and Group B comprises of gazetted officer, and C and D are non-gazetted officer. Among all, Indian Foreign Service or IFS is the highest central service in terms of prestige, in terms of status, payment, salary, and emoluments. In fact, through these central services, it competes with all India services in position, status, and pay scale. So, all Indian Foreign Services or IFS comes next to the Indian Administrative Service IAS in ranking, and its pay scale is higher than Indian Police Service. The next one is the state services. The personnel of state services work for the state government, so it is called state services, and the officers hold different positions: general, functional, technical in the departments of state government. However, they occupy lower position in administrative hierarchy of the state than the members of All India Service, IAS, IPS, and IFS. So, state services are below the All India services. The number of services in the state differ from state to state. The services that are common to all the states in our country are civil services, police service, forest service, agricultural service, medical service, veterinary service, fisheries, judicial service, public health service, education service, cooperative service, registration service, cell tax service, jail service, service of engineers. All these are common services for all the states. Each of the services is named after the state that is named after each prefix. Means, for example, we have various services, and like civil service means Gujarat Civil Service, Gujarat Police Service, Gujarat Forest Service, Gujarat Agricultural Service, Gujarat Medical Service, Gujarat Veterinary Service, Gujarat Fisheries, Gujarat Judicial Service, Gujarat Public Health Services. This is how the names are given. For example, Andhra Pradesh, they are known as Andhra Pradesh Services, Andhra Pradesh Police Service, Andhra Pradesh Forest Service, Andhra Pradesh Agricultural Service, Andhra Pradesh Medical Service, Andhra Pradesh Veterinary Service, so on. So each state Name is used as prefix, then name of the services. Among all the state services, the civil services, as known as administrative services, is the most prestigious services in the state. Like central services, the state services are also classified into four categories. As the central services have been classified into four, state services have also has been classified into four. Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. Class 1 means group 1, or it is also called group A. Class 2 means group 2 or group B. Class 3 means group 3, group C, or class 4 means group 4, group D. These are the division of services in the state government. Further, the state services are also classified into gazetted and non-gazetted. Usually class 1 and class 2 means group A and group B. Services are called gazetted services, and group C or class 3 or group C, class 4 or group D, they are called non-gazetted classes or services. The names of the members of the gazetted classes are published by the government gazette for appointment, for transfer, for promotion, for retirement, while the non-gazetted are not published. Again, the members of gazetted class enjoy some privileges which are denied to the member of non-gazetted classes. Also, the members of gazetted class are called officers and non-gazetted class called employees. So this is the end of the presentation. We discussed about public services. Okay. So you have already given the answer true and false. That's great. So now let me answer you. Public services or civil services or government services in India are classified into five categories. Absolutely wrong. As we saw in the presentation, it is not five but three. So this is a false statement. All India services are those services which are only confined to central government jobs. Again, this is wrong. It is not confined to central government. It is also for the state governments. So this is again wrong. The members of All India services occupy top positions or key position. True and false? Absolutely, this is true. So All India services are the top class services in our country. At present, there are three All India services. Absolutely right. We discussed Indian Administrative Service IAS, Indian Police Service IPS, Indian Forest Service IFS. So this is right. In 1947, the All India Service or ICS was replaced by IAS. Yes, this is true. The member of All India services are recruited and trained by the state government. Absolutely wrong. All India services are not recruited and trained by the state government. Rather, they are recruited and trained by the central government. Wrong. The salaries, the pensions of all India services are made by the center. No, it looks like correct, but it is not. It is made by the state government. So this is a false one. At present, 62 group A central services are there. True. Yes. So finally share your marks. Devang, before presentation 5, after presentation 8, 100% correct. Sujal, after presentation 8, before presentation, wow, 7. Absolutely right. So now you have already understood what is central government job, state government job, all India service job, their ranks, their appointment, their recruitment, their pay scale, their hierarchy. Very, very important because you are going to be also a super class 1 officer. So here, if you have given the answer, finally you give your rank, your mark. Okay. So today we discussed public services, where we discussed all India services, central government services, state government services. Also, we saw the ranks. So I hope all the best that one day you will be a member of all India service group. All the best. See you. Bye bye. Take care. Till then, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.